My name is Bruce Gilden and I'm a photographer. I was born in Brooklyn, but you could probably hear me talk and know that right away. I started photographing in 1968. I've been a member of Magnum Photos for a decade, and last year I was awarded a Guggenheim Fellowship. I do close-up portraits of people on the street with a flash. To me, beauty is everywhere, especially on the street where characters seem to live. Now I'm going to look at some of the pictures you submitted and tell you what I think, because some guys from Vice thought it would be a good idea. This is Take It or Leave It with Bruce Gilden. Okay, you ready? Let's go.
All right, which one do we want to focus on first?
No, I can't discuss a picture like this. I mean, there's no, or this. I mean, come on. That would be insulting to me. Or that. I mean, you know. This one, neither. That one's just something out of focus that you take when you're rewinding your roll. What if you had 100 like this? You know, there's strength in numbers. I don't think that way, but I find myself saying that a lot in workshops. Well, if you did 50 like this, you know, maybe you'll have a book or a body of work. I mean, that's where the concept comes in. I'm not for, you know, concepts that aren't realized well. Now, in this picture, I love the guy's hat. I like the expression on his face. I just find that it's totally out of focus. And it looks like something that could have been from a movie. You know, The French Connection or something, okay? So it has credibility from that standpoint, but as a photograph, it doesn't have much credibility for me because it looks like an accident. And I like accidents in photographs, but accidents that go along with something that isn't an accident. Like there's a conscious way of how one works. And then you have the accident that most times spoils that picture, but in this instance makes it work. So when I look at this, I don't know if the photographer wanted to take this, you look, or it's just a total accident, and it's not that good anyway, okay? So, next. This photograph here, let me start by saying that it's not a very good photograph. This would be very hard, unless it was perfectly done, to be a good photograph. Not only is the picture not formed well, because as you see here, you have the gun here and then there's nothing over here. I mean, it's just empty, dead space. But the other thing is, there's a line by the philosopher Santayana that says, if you don't know anything about history, I'm paraphrasing, you're condemned to repeat it. And this photographer obviously doesn't know much about history because there's a very famous, well, a photograph by William Klein from his New York book with a little kid in Brooklyn that has a toy gun to his head and he's making a face like this. And he's cross-eyed, so he looks a little bit different, okay? And if you knew that picture, you could learn several things. You could learn from the composition of that picture, which is much better than this, even though that's not one of my favorite William Klein pictures. So you would know how to form this picture better. And also you would know that if you're going to do something that's evocative of a pretty famous photograph in 20th century documentary photography, you'd have to do better. Next, let's go to this one. Okay, I like photographs where you make up a story. When you look at the image, the viewer wants to make up a story. So in this particular image, which I think is relatively well done, it could have been a little better. I am not sure if I like that he has an apple in his hand. I think if he didn't have the apple and he has a little schmutz on his face here from eating the apple. But the story here for me is you have a fairly attractive woman right here, and here's an older, lecherous type man, or he desires her, I would say, you know, to have some sort of intimate affair with her. And he doesn't realize that she's a sorceress. Because you see in that apple, which she has given him, there's actually some sort of drug. And if you notice, there's a guy here lying in the back, totally unconscious or sleeping. He could be dead. I don't know what she had in the apple. But that was her victim before, because she's very used to having all these older men come on to her because she's relatively attractive and she's a relatively nice person, so she's easygoing. She got tired of it. So he had eaten the apple, and this is what happened to him. Now also, to have a good photograph, the details are very important. Even though all the action is the older man looking at the younger woman and desiring her with his eyes, devouring her, I should say is a better word, and is the focus of the picture, without the person lying here, your eye wouldn't go from this couple to him. Otherwise, it would just be sand, and the picture wouldn't be as good. So that brings your attention back to the central point of the photograph, okay? So even though that might not resonate with most people, that makes the picture better than if he wasn't there.
Yeah,
you ready?
Yes.
Now here, we have somebody who's working in the street. It's not easy to do these kind of pictures. Take it from me, I was out there for, God knows, most of my life. This one here, to me, is not organic, okay? Going from here to here to here to here, it's not very natural. It's not a picture that would make me want to look at it intently and ask what's going on, because I don't like how the picture flows. Now, this is not easy to do, and this person is talented, I believe, okay? And the thing is, here, which it works a little better in, because the flow goes from here to here to here, which is nice that you have people in the background filling the frame, but yet the person in the back doesn't add to it. It takes away from this organic flow of going like this to there to there to there. No matter how complex the situation is, no matter what you've chosen to photograph, the viewer has to feel that it's organic. Getting much closer here than here, but both of them aren't there. Now this one, I think, is a pretty good picture. It's monumental in its scope. This person here is, you know, you focus on him, he's there. You know, there's movement, his face is almost carved out of stone. He could be on Mount Rushmore. And then you go into this face, which is good. In that face, he has his eyes closed in the sun. It's very nice. I think the only improvement that I could have seen in the picture, which is out of really the photographer's control, is if this woman was in a different place. Because I think that's what I would have preferred, to not have her there at all. Because when you go to her face here, she takes away from this. So it's a little blip in the roadmap. But otherwise, I think it's a very good picture. And I'd like to see this printed very large. I like this picture. It's my favorite picture of the three, by far. Oh, the fire eater. This photograph makes me smile, okay? It's a photograph that a lot of people would take, whether you have any expertise in photography or not, because you have a one-line joke here, okay? It's ultimately not so funny. It's very obvious, and that's what the weakness in the picture is. Even though I smile, because who the hell is going to ask and allow themselves to have a cigarette lit by this lighter here? I mean, look at that. That flame can catch your hair, burn your face. So then I start to think that she almost is drunk or stoned on drugs, okay? But yet, and the lady is very overweight, and yet her movement is quite balletic. She has a very nice movement, very nice flow. She flows into the flame. So that's all well and good, but for me, ultimately, it catches my eye, it's striking, but there's really not much in it. What does save the picture is, look at that flame, it's beautiful, and it flows so lovely, and it goes up. It's gorgeous, it's really nice. And her eyes being closed, and of course you can identify that this is a Lions Club, and you have the American flag. So it's a takeoff on America. This could be in a book of sarcastic photographs about America. America the Beautiful, or America, look at us Americans, aren't we ignorant, or something like that. So it has some value, but I don't rate it strongly as a photograph. Right there.
Yeah, that's good.
You can see that?
Yeah.
You guys are fucking cheating. All right, anyway. Obviously, this is not a very good photograph. This is about the lady's under her chin. And who cares about under her chin? So did we get something?
Yeah, that was it.
No.